So we focused on the box method and greatest common factor in this unit. However, the box method is simply one strategy that works for factoring trinomials and difference of squares. There are other strategies: decomposition, logical reasoning, algebra tiles. I'm going to show you an example of each of these other types, and if you struggled with the box method and one of these other types makes more sense to you, by all means, feel free to use it. Algebra tiles. We did briefly talk about algebra tiles at the start. They really are only beneficial if every term is positive. But what an algebra tile model does is it illustrates how the terms in the two binomial factors are related to the terms in the trinomial. So if you had 2x squared plus 5x plus 3, we would arrange the tiles in a rectangle, starting with your x squared tiles up in the upper left-hand corner, and then filling in to make a rectangle. And you would see that the sides are 2x plus 3 and x plus 1. So we would look to see how they compare. Your first term of the trinomial is the product of the first terms in the binomials. That's always going to be the case, no matter what strategy you choose to use. The middle term is the sum of these products, so of the outside terms and of the inside terms. If you add those together, you will get the middle term, and that is always the case. The last term is the product of the last two terms in the binomials. And again, that will work every time. So what the algebra tile model does is it shows you how each part are related. Logical reasoning is another strategy that feel free to use if you wish. You're basically going to reason out your possible answers. So if we had 4h squared plus 20h plus 9, to factor this trinomial, you would want to find factors of the form ah plus b and ch plus d. The coefficient of h squared is 4, so the coefficients of the first terms in the binomial are factors of 4, which are 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. So your binomials have to have the form 1h plus b, 4h plus d, there's your 1 and 4, or 2h plus b and 2h plus d, there's your 2 and 2. They have to have one of those two forms. So now we look at the constant term, and the constant term was 9. What are your possible factors of 9? 1 and 1, 3 and 3. So now we have to write all the possible combinations. You have to take that h and that 4h, and you have to write all the possible combinations of 1 and 9, so you have to put both orders, and 3 and 3. We have to repeat it each time with the 2h. So you have to put the 1 and the 9, swap the order, and the 3 and the 3. So now, it could be any of these 6 possibilities. What we have to do is we have to check which has the h term equal to 20h. And remember, to do that, it's the sum of this product and this product. So we've got 9 and 4 is 13. That's not 20. This product and this product. So we'd have 18 and 2 is 20. And since we have found it, we don't need to check any further. So you have your factors right there. That is logical reasoning. Decomposition. This is factoring after writing the middle term of a trinomial as the sum of two terms, then determining a common binomial factor. So let's say we have 3s squared minus 13s minus 10. What we want to do is we want to first of all find the product of the first term and the last term. So right here, 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. So what we need to do is we want to find two numbers that multiply to negative 30. So we're going to have our list. Minus 13 is the sum of the two terms of the product of minus 30. So what we are looking for is we are looking for factors of 30 that will have a sum of negative 13. So once we find these, it was 2 and negative 15. So we rewrite the trinomial. This was the original one. Now we rewrite it, splitting up the minus 13s to 2s minus 15s. we are going to remove a common factor from the first pair of terms. So what that means is we're going to look at this first pair, 3s squared plus 2s. We're going to take out the common factor of s, and this is what you get when you divide each term by s. You're going to look at the last two terms. The greatest common factor is minus 5. When you divide each term by minus 5, you'd be left with 3s plus 2. Notice that your brackets are identical. 3s plus 2, 3s plus 2. So now we remove that 3s plus 2 and write it as one of our factors. And we take the parts that were in front, the greatest common factors that we removed, the s and the minus 5, and we make that our second factor. And that is factoring by decomposition.